Welcome to Discover Greater Lansing. Whether you're exploring the rich history of the state capital or indulging in incredible local food, there's always something exciting happening here. Discover living. Discover mobility. Discover downtown. Discover giving back. Greater Lansing offers breathtaking activities and outdoor adventures, ensuring a perfect balance of city life and natural beauty. Discover the warmth. Discover the charm. Discover Greater Lansing. The journey begins now.
Hello and welcome back to another fantastic episode of Discover Greater Lansing, where we dig deep into everything that makes this region the very best it is. Today, again, home is where the heart is, and I'm with Miss Home, 2025, Karen Way, our real estate extraordinaire. Hi, Karen. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
We're joined with a few others who are Carl on home inspection, and Leslie, who's going to keep us safe from lead in our homes. So we've got chock full of information today for everybody to learn about the market, their home, and that really is where our hearts are and how it can be the very best for us. Karen, the housing market, it's always a great dinner conversation.
Can
we find a house? Can I move out of my house into another one? Let's welcome people into our region. Tell us what the market's looking like.
So, it's very healthy, and it's interesting because it's really not going to matter what year it is or what season it is. It's always a great time to buy a home. And right now our inventory is down a little bit, and people are looking to find a home that meets maybe 80% of what their wants and needs are and making it work. And sometimes that means having it inspected at a higher level, but for sure having it inspected.
Absolutely. That's the very first step. And some people I've heard can pass by that step. It is an investment to have a home inspector, but really it's an insurance that it's a buyer beware or be aware is more like it, that exactly, it's not just the beautiful exterior of the home that you fall in love with, but all the parts that make a house a home. So Carl, home inspector, tell us, why is it important for people to take that step to get a home inspection, and what kind of things you may uncover during that inspection?
Well, the things we can uncover during a home inspection are wide and varied. You never know what you're going to come across, certainly. But to answer your first question, the whys are quite simple. You're making the largest purchase you're ever going to make, and it would be silly to not protect that investment by getting as much information about it as you possibly can. And that's our role. One of the common misconceptions is there's a pass or fail grade for a home inspection. There's simply not. Your tolerance may be much different than mine. So we give our clients all the information I possibly can about that home, and they get to make the decision along with their agent about if that's the right home for them.
So it really is a car is a smaller purchase. It's looking under the hood, not that I know what I'm looking at, but everything from the infrastructure, for example, my daughter's house, her first house, shifting off the foundation, so she knew that going in, and she could repair that and stabilize the home. And so you're looking at everything from the foundation. Do you also look at the appliances and the roofing and the windows? Do you look at every one of those aspects?
Absolutely. We check every system I can possibly get my hands on, top to bottom, front to back. From the roof to the foundation, to the walls, the windows, the whole, as the song goes. Yeah. We look at everything. If it's an installed piece of equipment, we look at it. So ranges and refrigerators. If it's a countertop microwave, I'm probably not going to mess with that. Yeah. But anything that's installed and permanent to the home, then we absolutely check out.
And it's really nice. My experience is that you get it's like a binder, maybe it's electronic now, but that you can year by year, you can say, hey, what was the condition, or was this something that the home inspector said to look out for? So that's something, right, it's not just that moment in time, but perhaps down the road to help.
Absolutely, and one of the things I pride myself on is being a resource for my clients. So we send out that very detailed email report, typically the same day we do the inspection. Mm-hmm. It'll have photos and descriptions of everything that's going on, life expectancies of furnaces and that sort of thing. So the people can effectively plan and strategize for their upcoming expenses over the immediate or fairly soon lifetime of that home.
So it's the smart thing to do. And Karen?
Absolutely.
Yeah, when you're working with your clients, how important is that in the process?
It's something that I always encourage. And, if you find out that you have the perfect home, according to Carl and what we have found out, that is the best money you could absolutely spend, because it's a baseline for the house. After the inspector goes through, that you know what to fix immediately if you even want to move forward with the house. So you know what your commitment level is, and then you can put your home on a schedule based on what Carl is going to tell you as to what needs to be done and when. Because let's name it or face it, the name of the game is maintenance on anything that you own, especially one of your largest purchases.
Absolutely. So very smart thing to do. And Carl gave us a little bit of sneak peek. Now let's go a little bit deeper into that home, and we're going to talk to Leslie a little bit about especially our beautiful older homes throughout the region. My first home was turn of the century. My office building is turn of the century. But once in a while you get that lead paint and lead in the home. Tell us a little bit about what you do, Leslie, in that regard.
Well, I work for all kinds of clients, but it's very important when I get the homeowner client, because they're doing it for their family's safety. They might have purchased a home that's older than 1978, and we can't just throw these houses away. We don't have enough land to just constantly be building new homes. So if you're going to own an older home, it's still a good house, and through your maintenance and painting and your cleaning practices, you can make this home absolutely lead safe, even if there is some lead-based paint in the home. So I do the inspections to identify where lead-based paint is, and we also do an inspection called a risk assessment that will identify what kind of hazards exist on the property right now, things that the owner can take care of to make that home lead safe.
That's wonderful to know. So, Karen, again, do you work with Leslie as you're
Absolutely.
looking? Okay, and
Absolutely.
And you come in then into the home they're considering looking at, or is it after the purchase? Well, how does that work?
It can be either during the purchase, because there is a one-page disclosure form in the contracts that allows the home buyer to get a lead inspection. That's a federally protected right, because we have so much lead throughout our housing stock. So if you're worried about, say you're a young family or you're expecting, you really want to make sure you're not going to have any trouble with lead, that's a good time to get the lead inspection before you even commit to buying the home. For most people, the lead is not a make or break issue. So let's say after you've purchased the home, you're thinking about doing some major renovations, like big kitchen redo, bathrooms, and you're going to be ripping out these older walls. There could be lead-based paint in those walls, and you want to know that before you disturb anything, because once you start making dust and debris, that's where the exposure comes in for children, because it gets into the dust, and then the children play on the floor, they put things in their mouth, and that's how they get exposed. So through regular cleaning practices, you can also minimize the amount of dust that's hazardous in the home, but that's a really key time to get a lead inspection when you have small children or you're getting ready for a big renovation project.
Absolutely. So just to understand the process of that inspection, of course, the bigger the home may take a little bit longer, but typically, what is included on a higher level in that inspection for a home that somebody may be considering or already living in?
Sure. The basic inspection is actually 2 inspections in one. So there's a lead inspection that identifies where lead paste is located, and then the risk assessment is actual dust wipe and soil sampling.
Okay. So, and is it cost prohibitive, or is it a good investment, much like the home inspection?
If you have a young family, I think the negatives of not getting it are astronomical. A child with lead poisoning, if it's chronic over time, it can affect the development of the organs, the bones. It can lower your IQ. So these are all right up there with the worst fears that parents can have. Nobody wants their child lead poisoned.
And so it's priceless. It's so worth it, because, like you said, our children who are exposed to it can be exposed to a number of challenges along their way in life. And so, Karen, in your professional experience, has this we've become such more conscious of a society when it comes to the environment? Is that something that you've seen people actually proactively ask about? And
you know, we are seeing that, and that's why it's so important working with someone like Carl. Carl can take a look at that first level to make sure that everything is being covered. And if he goes into a home that was built in 1919, and he sees the way the paint looks in some areas, he can call in a specialist like Leslie. But absolutely, we want to make sure that we have our people protected, but they can go ahead and live in older homes knowing
Yes.
that they enjoy the architecture and the location in Michigan, and it's covered because of professionals like our people today.
So that's great to know, because you might not be aware. You're caught up in the excitement of
Right.
getting a home. I'm a tradition, so I love the old homes, and like I said, my office buildings turn of the century, and being aware of it and kind of like having that on your checklist is
Right.
important.
And that's more my job as a real estate broker, is to make sure that the consumer that I'm working with has been able to have those opportunities to check off everything that they're concerned about. And it's scary to buy a home, no matter
Yes,
what. It is, no matter where you are in your life, because it is a responsibility. But if you're working with a broker that can guide you as to what needs to be done, and then can also provide the resources, it can be a really fun thing to do.
Oh, absolutely. And then the knowing that, hey, I'm either there's no problem, or I know
Yes.
and I can plan for it, and I can mitigate any of those kind of issues. I think that's having this whole team, which is it's awesome, and you bring that all together, Karen.
I do, and it's a pretty fun job for sure. So
Yes.
yeah.
Well, the people get to work with and meet. And so we're talking about home safety, making sure you know what you're buying and when you buy that. And Karen, do you want to kind of wrap this together about the whole home buying process, and that from the deer in the headlights, I'm buying a home, it's a huge expense, where do I get the money? And the value of having and I say trusted team, because there are people you don't know, somebody's name pops up and you Google search, but they paid for it. So how do you pick the right partners for you and for your clients?
Well, it's interesting that you ask, because there are lots of options out there. And really, I tell consumers, these are people that I would recommend that you talk to. Ultimately, it's your decision as to who you want to work with. So I share credentials. I put them the consumer in a position where they feel that they have the opportunity and they're comfortable to be able to call and do almost like an interview type situation. A lot of times they'll go with who we are recommending, our top 3 or whatever, and that's where I need to vet my people, and I certainly do, because good inspectors are an extension, and we just want to I want to make sure we put the team together that gets the person the home that they want, and that they truly are buying, an asset and not a liability.
Yeah. So with this brain trust on home buying here and homes in themselves, I just wanted to take our last couple of minutes and start with Carl and say, a few important tips or leave behinds for our viewers, so that in the home inspection, what you may have seen, maybe it's just some amazing thing that you uncovered, like I've had 1,000 hornets in the roof or whatever, but maybe a tip or two or something that would show really the importance of having that home inspection.
Absolutely. So I think the biggest thing that people need to remember is there is no perfect home. I've done over 2,000 houses in my career, and I've never met a perfect house. So we're going to have a laundry list generally of small things that are just more maintenance items and nothing to worry about. But we've run into those big hornets nests and attics too, and it's amazing how fast a big guy can get out of a little bitty hole. So.
Yeah. All right. And Leslie, in your expertise in the lead area.
Well, I want to mention that I let all parents know, if you have any concerns about lead, make sure you're testing your children at their doctor annually, at least until the age of 6. And that's the only real way to know if they're getting some kind of exposure. And it could come from the house, it could come from the building components, but it could also come from imported candies and spices, vintage china.
Wow.
Yeah, car keys, batteries. It's in a lot of products we don't think of that they would be there. So if you ever did find yourself in a situation where you have an elevated blood level, there is a specific test you can do that searches the home to find what that exposure is coming from.
Absolutely. So that's your public health message. Test those children. It's so important to just make sure they're healthy and safe, because it can impair their cognitive, their physical, and everything else. And we want our kids in this region and everywhere to be as safe as they possibly can. Karen, any
Okay.
final tips?
Well, I'm going to just wrap up kind of what both of my friends have said here today. Number one, where Carl said, it's definitely knowledge for the homeowner, and kind of paraphrasing, keep your head on straight. Let's look at this, and there's no perfect home. But when you find what you think is the perfect home, and we've got a lead situation, we have resources. We don't have to walk away from things. We just need to fix things. So I just want people to stay in curiosity a little bit longer and look to the resources and stay excited, because Greater Lansing is a great place to be.
It absolutely is, and our home is our base. It's where we go. We want to feel safe. We want our children and our loved ones to be safe, starting from even before it becomes your beloved house, right, Carl?
Absolutely.
Get it, inspect it. It's a smart investment. It's your biggest investment you're going to make in your life, and so get that home inspection for the lead abatement and those lead issues. Leslie, the work you do it's life-saving in many regards, and health promoting. So appreciate what you do, Karen, for helping people find that special place and connecting them with these great resources that are throughout our region. Thank you for building our neighborhoods, for helping getting the people into the homes
easy
they
to do.
love.
Thank you.
And for all you do. I mean, our homes are, we say on this show a lot, live, work, and play. And that the live is the first one, because we want to live here and be so vibrant in our communities. So thank you for joining us. What a great show about homes, where the heart is. I appreciate your time today.
Hi, I'm Deanna East, and I'm with Michigan State University Extension. Here with me today is Tanner Dare, who is an MSU Extension educator with our health programs. So, hi Tanner.
Hi.
Tanner, you're here to talk about something that we don't get enough of, which is sleep. Can you tell us more about why sleep is so important?
Yeah, absolutely. So sleep is something that everyone does, but sometimes we don't really think about our sleep until we're not getting enough of it. So scientists are still trying to figure out why we need sleep, but we know that there's a lot of really important processes that happen while we sleep. So things like muscle repair, gene expression, and toxic byproducts from our brain kind of get flushed out during sleep. We also know that sleep problems are linked to the 10 leading causes of death. So we know that sleep is really important for our health, and we kind of feel it in the morning when we wake up and we know, I just didn't get enough sleep last night.
That's for sure. So how much sleep does somebody actually need?
Yeah, so that's a question that is different for every person. So we know that newborns spend most of their time sleeping, up to about 14 hours a day. The parents are probably sleeping less during that time. But as we get older, we tend to need a little bit less sleep. And as adults, the official recommendation is to get about 7 to 9 hours of sleep at night.
So what do you recommend for somebody who may not get enough sleep?
Yeah, so I would recommend coming to one of our sleep programs. We meet once a week for 6 weeks. They're 30-minute sessions. We discuss new sleep topics in each program, and we go over a new sleep goal. So we actually set goals for our sleep that are individual to us, what we want to accomplish, and then we regroup at the next meeting and wrap it up.
Well, thank you very much, Tanner. And thank you for joining us to learn more about MSU Extension programs.
Hi, today we're here with Chris Swope, the president of the Lansing Rotary Club. Chris, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And as a fellow Rotarian, I have to tell you, I absolutely love Rotary, but for folks that don't know and might be interested in joining, why should people join?
Well, the Rotary Club of Lansing is a great group of people, so it's great for networking, it's great for being involved in your community, and for giving back. We also, we meet weekly, and we have some of the best speakers in the area, so you'll get to hear information that you would not otherwise hear. An example, we just had the COO of the University of Michigan Health for this region spoke to us, some great information. We had the superintendent of the Lansing School District, we've had the Lansing mayor. So some of the people that are really involved in our community are here talking to us, and you get an opportunity to hear from them and pose some questions to them. It's a wonderful meeting.
Absolutely. And so you meet once a week. Tell us a little more about that and what a meeting looks like and what you do.
So meeting involves lunch, of course. We meet noon over at LCC. Then the speaker and the meeting starts at 12:30. It's an hour long. We have special music most of the time, so it's a really engaging, entertaining meeting. And then you hear from the speaker. So it's food, camaraderie, everything you could really want in a lunch. And I just love going to the meetings, meeting people, networking. It's a great experience.
It really is. And so if folks want to learn more, they can go to lansingrotary.org.
Hello everybody, welcome. My name is Tolulope Adedoku of University of Michigan Health Sparrow. For nearly 130 years, U of M Health Sparrow has called Mid-Michigan home and continues to invest in ways that truly matter. To tell us more about that, we're catching up with Connie O'Malley, our Regional Chief Operating Officer of U of M Health. So welcome, Connie.
Thank you.
So we have an abandoned Rite Aid building on Pennsylvania and Michigan right across from the hospital that we're working on. Can you tell us a little bit more about this?
Yeah, so we're really excited. This July we'll be opening a full service pharmacy with a drive-through. In addition to that, occupational health services and an urgent care. So again, here for the community to support all of your needs, local and close to home.
Awesome. So last year, your team broke ground in Grand Ledge. Any updates on that new health clinic? What's going on there?
Yes, our $32 million facility is well on its way. We plan to open in December of 2026. It'll include all services, primary care, urgent care, and multiple ancillary services to support you, again, with care close to home.
That's excellent. And so a little birdie told me that we are doing something with breast cancer care. So can you elaborate on that and tell me a little bit more?
Absolutely. In Lansing, we're planning a 9,000 square foot breast center, which will include comprehensive services, everything from mammography to ultrasound to breast biopsy services, all in one location. Excited to open that up in November of this year.
That is so exciting, and thank you so much for sharing that with us today. To learn more about leading edge care at U of M Health Sparrow, visit uofmhealthsparrow.org. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful day.
CATA's Regional Mobility Solutions makes a difference in our community. Hear what riders and community leaders have to say about the value CATA delivers to the capital city area.
CATA brings a lot of value to our region. It helps with consumption and production of goods and services, getting people to work, getting people to places where they can purchase items. It's a very good and needed public transportation system that we have here in our region, and we're lucky to have it here. Well, it's very important to have local businesses support our community. We're interconnected. One really can't survive without the other. And as a business community, it really is our responsibility to make sure that we're supporting each other, that we're bringing meaningful and relevant programs and events to our communities. We want to be able to attract people to our region, retain people in our region. So we want people to be able to live, work, and play here. LAFQ supporting CATA, CATA supporting, LAFQ, the lug nuts where we're standing today. Just our community as a whole is it's vital to the survival of our community.
My name is Pat Spike. I'm the CEO of LAFQ Credit Union. Part of what really got me thinking about public transportation again, my executives shared a story about their spouse picking up someone that was walking to one of the supplier plants. I believe it was 4:30 or 5:30 in the morning. It was the middle of a Michigan winter, and they don't have a way to work other than their feet. I believe that CATA continues to show up and make sure that our community is served in all different ways, whether it's through seniors, whether it's helping getting people to a shelter, whether it's being a lit up bus in a parade. I think CATA aligns with all those things that make a community a viable, important community.
Hi, I'm Julie Thomasma, CEO of Child and Family Charities, and today I am so glad to have with me Executive Director Rachel Swedberg from CASA for Kids. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
So tell us, what does CASA do in the community? Tell us a bit more.
Casa for Kids is a local nonprofit that works in Barry, Eaton, and Ingham counties, and we advocate for children and their entire family unit for the entire time that they are experiencing the child welfare or foster care system. That can look like a lot of different things. It can be advocating within the court, advocating within the school, advocating for medical needs, but at the end of the day, our goal is to center the child and make sure that their needs are met, their voice is heard, and that they're in a place where they can thrive.
I love your mission, and it fits so well with what we do. So specifically, how do you empower youth?
Yes, so our advocates have several different avenues by which they empower youth. We actually have 2 new initiatives that we're very excited about. The first one is Fostering Futures, that focuses on supporting youth 14 and up to make sure that they have the skills and supports they need to thrive into adulthood. We know in the foster care system, youth over 14 are at risk of aging out without a permanent home. The second is an initiative that we've just recently started that's going to be focused on working with the entire family unit to keep these children in home and reduce the trauma of removal when it is safe to do so.
Well, we're so excited to have you join the nonprofit hub on our campus. So tell us about that and what that means for your mission.
Absolutely. We're so excited about this opportunity. We are all about collaboration with CASA. We work with many of the partners coming into this hub, and this is just a fantastic way for our organization to collaborate with others and have a greater impact and increase accessibility for our community.
Thank you so much for coming in.
I'm with Shelly Starr today from Supreme Lending, and so many people shopping for a home know they're going to have a house payment. Shelly, I would love to have you kind of break down that house payment, because there's really 4 major elements to that a person's going to find out. So let's just tell them right now what those are.
Wonderful. Yep. There are 4 big elements. Number 1 is your principal and interest, your property taxes, and your insurance. And so you need to make sure that those taxes are included for the summer and the winter tax bills, homeowners insurance, and then possibly private mortgage insurance if you're not putting the 20% down.
Great, great. So principal and interest, they really can't negotiate. It is what it is.
Fixed.
Homeowners insurance, they could kind of shop around a little bit on that, right?
Correct, and we really encourage people to do so that they can look at a couple different elements on that. Number 1, do they get their multi-policy discounts with including it with another policy like car insurance? Number 2 is shopping deductibles, because deductibles can make a big difference in that annual premium, which ultimately is collected in the monthly premium.
Okay, great. So when they're out there shopping, people are doing this for the first time a lot of times when they're buying a home. Tell me some of the stats. I mean, how often do people use their homeowners insurance?
Well, the stats kind of come in at about 2.5 times would a person use their homeowners insurance in a 30-year term. Think about that. And so taking that higher deductible sometimes will offset because of the lack of having to have claims over that 30-year period.
That makes a lot of sense. So basically, when they're getting ready to look at homes with me, we'll know what the payment's going to be. They can shop their homeowners insurance, and then they need to talk to you about their private mortgage insurance.
Correct.
Okay.
That's perfect.
Great. Well, thank you for joining me today. I hope that everyone reaches out to Shelly for clarification.
Wow, what another great show and another reason to discover Greater Lansing. So many wonderful things happening in our great, great community. From living, working, and playing, we've got it right here in Greater Lansing. Thanks for joining us.